What's up, guys? I'm back with another movie review. Today I'm here to talk about one from Kino Lorber's Studio Classics. I don't know how much of a studio classic this movie is, but it is Celtic Pride. So this one's got a pretty simple narrative. You got Daniel Stern and Dan Aykroyd are these just huge, obsessive, beyond superfan status, followers of the Boston Celtics, and as we learn later on, just all Boston sports teams in general, to the point that, their lives kind of suffer because of it. Dan Aykroyd, you can tell, is just kind of like stuck in this rut and unable to kind of, have a bigger life because he's so obsessed with the sports teams. This also carries over to Daniel Stern, who has a kind of a thread that involves him, wanting to play professional basketball, but he was it just wasn't good enough. So not having that dream has kind of embittered him a little bit, and so he kind of takes that out on himself and the people that are around him, and also he's just so into the Celtics that his marriage kind of starts to fall apart a little bit. His wife is played here by Gail Grady, and she's like kind of on the verge of leaving him. So eventually, the Boston Celtics are in the NBA Finals. It's the last year at the Boston Garden, so it's a big deal for these guys, if they can win it. But unfortunately, despite all their superstitions and their, rituals and whatnot, it doesn't work, and the Celtics lose. So they're on the brink of losing their chance at this championship. While they're out at a bar that night, they see the star player for the Utah Jazz, who's played here by Damon Wayans, and they decide, hey, we're going to get this guy super drunk. So drunk that he's going to end up like missing practice, or he's just going to be so hungover he's just not going to be any good in the game at all. So that's what they do. But unfortunately, when they wake up the next morning, Damon Wayans is tied up, and it has become apparent that they have kidnapped him. And the rest of the movie is what happens in the wake of discovering that they've kidnapped one of the biggest and most popular players in the NBA. And that's the premise here. Is do they keep him kidnapped so that the Celtics have a better chance of winning, or do they let him, at the risk of going to jail? That's the idea here. I think this is kind of the tale of two movies. You have one movie that's just kind of a stupid, silly, stupid in a fun way, like just kind of a goofy slapstick movie about these kind of two losers who are obsessed with, just beyond obsessed with sports, and kind of don't have anything else in their lives, who end up in this crazy situation. And I like that part of the movie. I think it works really well. When it's focused in on the kind of zany or humor and just absurdity of it all, it works kind of well. It's actually kind of a funny movie. But then it also tries to shoehorn in this like more dramatic elements, and like, I don't even know any other way to put it than just like to put some heart into it. And I don't think every movie needs character growth and character arcs and like heart. I think sometimes you just want a silly movie, and this is such a goofy movie. Like, I feel like that's what it should have been, and instead it ends up getting really dragged down by these times that it tries to be serious or have a message or have like a moral about what you should do. If anything, there should have been like a little bit of a message about doing things in moderation so that you can still be a big sports fan, but also take care of your wife, and in case of the Dan Aykroyd character, do anything else with your life part of the time, instead of being on sports constantly. But the movie goes way past that. It tries to put in all this drama and heart and messages, and I just didn't care for it. I thought it was really forced, and it just doesn't work very well. I think the performances in it are fine. Daniel Stern especially just kind of plays like a complete asshole here, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. The movie kind of tries to steer him into becoming a better person for these experiences, but I don't know why they needed to do that. I think it's okay for him to be an asshole, just be less of an asshole, and nothing really happens with Dan Aykroyd. Damon Wayans, of course, is the big shot, super cocky player, and he has his own little character arc, which again I feel like is completely meaningless and isn't really needed here in a movie that should have just been kind of a silly, fun movie to watch. To force in all this stuff that just slows down the movie and drags it down. But then again, there may be some people who want, in the middle of a slapstick movie, to have it take these huge breaks where nothing funny whatsoever happens for 10 or 15 minutes at a time, so that you can explore these character arcs that really don't ever lead anywhere. I also think the movie has a absolutely terrible ending. It's kind of nonsensical, but not in a fun, goofy way, just in a terrible way. I didn't like it at all. I like the first part of the movie, and again, when it's in that slapstick mode, I think it works really well, but otherwise I just think it's a total drag and can honestly be kind of a chore to watch. So unless you're just a huge fan of sports movies, I can't really recommend it, even though it does have some funny parts in it. And I always like to see Dan Aykroyd and Daniel Stern, so that's my take on it. The disc is from Kino Lorber Studio Classics, obviously It's got a director's commentary track, the trailer. The transfer looks really nice. I didn't have any problems with it. It's not an eye-popping treatment by any means, but it's definitely rock solid. All the colors look good. Details fantastic. It's not like where you're seeing every little, piece of texture on the fabric or whatever, but it's a good-looking transfer. Definitely better than the DVD that I had. So if you're a fan of the movie, the disc is definitely worth it. I wouldn't blind buy it, but if you're into it, it's there. That's it. That's my review. I don't really know what else to say about it. It was just kind of just that part good and part absolutely horrible. So that's my review of Celtic Pride. If you like it, check out my website, markfusion.com. I got tons of other Kino Lorber Studio Classics reviews there. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, and Twitch at markfusion. Letterboxd, you can see what I've been watching, what might be coming here soon, make recommendations, whatever. But the best way to help me out is just to hit that sub button. It's a free, easy, direct way to support me. Help me to keep making content. Big stack of Blu-rays just fell over. Help me keep making this content, and also watching the old videos is a massive help as well. Sorry this one ran a little bit over, but hopefully I'll see you guys soon, and thanks again for watching.